Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hammer Theater Center. Before we begin, please take a moment to turn off all cell phones and any other electronic devices. Also, take a moment to notice the emergency exits at the sides and rear of the theater. For the safety of our performers and copyrighted material, please refrain from any photography or recording. Please sit back and enjoy the program.
How is everyone? Nope. There are entirely too many people in this room for that. How is everyone? Okay, that's what we're talking about. All right. So, my name is Shaka Campbell. I am your I'm blushing, you just can't see it. My name is Shaka Campbell. I am your current Santa Clara Poet Laureate. Thank you. I am absolutely honored to be here to help sort of honor these individuals who have had a significant and long-lasting impact on San Jose, their art, and the cultural landscape. And I'm here to kind of get the party started, right? I honestly, I only took this gig because I thought I could roast Connie, but apparently that's not the case, so we'll just do this. So before I begin, I'd be remiss if I didn't share this haiku with you guys really quickly. Best sound ever heard is the silence between the tone of ceasefires. Okay, so thank you. I couldn't go on without doing that. Anyway, so here we go. If you know me, you know that I have a mantra. It's called, it's really listen different. And listening different for me in a nutshell is about shifting our perspective around how we understand, how we interpret the world around us. And I think this aligns with what's being done when we look at how to, ways to increase the understanding of the value of arts in our community. One must listen almost between the lines and listen differently to interpret what's being said, as well as what's not being said. All of this to deliver on the changes that the community wants to see. But what if there was no voice, right? What if we couldn't listen? What if sound was illegal? What I'm going to do is take you to a world where sound has been outlawed and the government has decided that voices are too powerful. In an erased city, behind the curtain wall of a second-floor flat, a muse cleans away the ash left on her fireplace after burning away the memories of her imagination. On the same street, a cafe holds two poets, steel-faced, bronze tongues, eyes spilling into each other, their voices rout. The moment is sinister on a string. Their expressions wear long like an endless stairwell to insidious, both with a firm grip on a loose moment, sitting in the enclave of a time bomb set to extinguish, an exit sign, flashing a muted red nexus with two minds and nothing said. Their heads turn to study a dream hanging on the wrist of a doorknob, and they are counting the moments toward escape. They're still. Above them, above the two old poets, a sign reads, sample sale, March 35th, 2042. Paper 40% off, pen in all sizes, we trade in white noise. See, silence is a commodity in this forgotten city. Its inhumanity slightly hidden in the architecture of its senses. It smells of industry and worship, of broken promise and monetized salvation. The working class drag themselves to oblivion on the heels of their dreams. It's a hole within a hole that swallows whole a city of minimalists, fighting to create more empty for themselves each day. A view of drones disguised as people decorate the aqueducts and roads of this vacant metropolis like shapeless sculptures trying to domesticate a limitless space, but it wasn't always this way. Today, the window behind them portrays a sound dealer slithering outside on the pavement like a runny nose as he's flogging the whispers of a wingless wasp with its buzz removed. The night sun burns the feathers of silver-eyed pigeons rummaging the sky for new light, marauders of a past light. Before the wars, before the sound walkers, their religion and their ability to trade in the commerce of speech. They ease themselves into lives with the gravity of a lullaby. See, these walkers and their evaporated prayers were invented from chaos, conjured by men with gray eyes and weak minds, their science drawn into propaganda and etched on subway walls, on churches, on monuments, on schools, on museums. It said the muted prevail. Silence is currency. That's what they preached and cascaded to their disciples before slowly removing their dreams under cloth, before the stealing of feeling, these demented monoliths hoarding their voices and making silence golden. It began simple enough. A decibel curfew at first led way to volume controls. Then systematic sleep apnea and midnight raids. They used robot spiders to spin dream catchers, lulling our imagination into acid webs. Dissolving discreetly, it devolved sleep, which neatly suppressed the need to see speak and all hope seep through the fractured sky. See, some believed we could coexist, that the sound walkers were saviors. But see, sound is music. And words are ammunition, so a phrase that sings is too powerful an instrument. It can cause wars and famine, love, hope, desire, hope, war, more. So its beauty was systemically outlawed. And now 20 years in, we huddle in hooded groups to get high from the sound of stolen insect flight injected into our throats to create white noise. This is our music now. See, here you go, and there's these two fading poets. These two fading poets, they used to love words. Used to sell them 30 years prior in that same cafe. They used to skin them like fishmongers, deboning their genealogy. Now, all they can do is explain life in hand gestures and sit still with their magic removed, inhaling the braided perfume of chai lattes and hydroponic coffee grinds. Their imagination are now castrated angels, forgetting how to enunciate their souls. Freedom screwed into a concrete grave. They are young and wrinkled. The scars we left behind in a womb of mankind, waiting, wanting for something to pour into, like human jaws for a moment. Tick, tick, tick. An hourglass alarm clock blinks in the background. 57, 58, 59. Boom. And like a supernova, they explode into a gyration of swirling screams. They yell out, the sound circling their spines like DNA parables, spelling eternity. They spoke in galaxies, in old, in wet, like new miracles, unearthed and unabashed. Their tongues were still fat from not speaking for 3 decades, still fat from incubating planets in their mouths. So they were still unfamiliar to the sound of their own voices, to their own God. So they clicked awkward between each lucid sentence. We are, click, the descendant of an imaginary future, click, muted, not no more, return from this unholy click, we are not muted. A nanosecond later, they pour into the street, chanting in sublime synchronicity, we are not mutes. We are spitting gypsies, nomads carrying dreams to places only our skins can recall. We be because we say we are. An arsenal of twisted tongue witch doctors, toe-tagged and ready to give death back to the dying, made from the ground bones of Click Milton, Langston, Click Kubert, Suhair, Click McKay, Byron, Blake, they shake, Ellams, Abrams, Williams, Edwards, Click LaRose, Heron, Click Garvey, Angelou, Giovanni, Cootie, Shelley, Click Shelley, we be, Click, we be a soup of soothsayers, looting peridiums loosely with loose-leaf skin and veins for lines, so we write in 12-point blood and cursive flesh, barbed wire sewn through our throats to ensure that we swallow pain and speak plasma. Give us back what you've taken. We have evolved this language. We've evolved this language into a palisade of shape-shifting illusion, a brand, a trend, a belief, a stand for, click, and stand on. A stand for, click, and stand on. Spoken, broken, brave into our children. The future needs to hear the fire crackle through our teeth. Let us speak. Let us dream. Click, let us dream. Live. Click, let us speak. Look at us. We've extracted the Machiavellian from your promise of immortality and still hold the syllables of God in our wombs. How can you silence who we are? We are poetry, life spoken in razor blades, voice box made of unpublished concertos, harvested by time machines. Click, we are poetry. Click, 30 years from now, we were poetry. Click, in 30 years from now, we will be. Click, we will be. Click, we will be. We will be. Click, poetry, poetry, click, poetry. And as quickly as they began, they end in mid-rampage. Their tongues are torn from their mouths and fall to the ground. Plasma-filled spiders emerge from the space that was. Their words echo as sound dealers descend on them in an attempt to capture whatever sound may still be left in their bodies. But it's too late. The seed has been sown. The vibrations travel the underground like a runaway enslaved. And two poets, 30 years from now, reclaim all of our voices. Thank you.
Thank you, and good evening. My name is Carrie Adams-Hapner, Director of the Office of Cultural Affairs, and welcome to the 2023 Cornerstone of the Arts. Thank you so much for being here tonight. First, please join me in giving another warm round of applause for Shaka Campbell. And while you're at it, for the San Jose Jazz All-Stars that performed earlier. To begin this evening's program, we begin with the land acknowledgement. The City of San Jose would like to acknowledge that it is located on the ancestral homelands of First Nation indigenous people of the greater Santa Clara Valley, such as the Tamian Nation and the Muwekma Ohlone tribes. We recognize our First Nation relatives as the original stewards of the Santa Clara Valley and San Jose area and give thanks for the lands they call home, which is now the City of San Jose and home to millions of settlers who continue to live and thrive on these lands. Consistent with our values of community, inclusion, and diversity, the City of San Jose acknowledges and supports First Nation people in solidarity and commitment to partnering and advocating for a more equitable and inclusive future. This Cornerstone of the Arts program is held in October in honor of National Arts and Humanities Month. Through the arts and humanities, we honor heritage, change, and progress, building bridges across cultures and across generations. The arts foster empathy for our shared human experiences, and through these connections, we weave one community and one San Jose. The 2023 awards are our 10th anniversary of Cornerstone for the Arts. And if you look at this list of honorees, we see that we all stand on the shoulders of giants. Over time, we expanded the program, and so I want to thank all of these honorees, past and present, for their enduring leadership. The San Jose Office of Cultural Affairs is a champion for the arts. We do this through grant making, promoting the power of creative expression, outdoor special events, stewarding the city's cultural facilities, and public art. And we do it all in the spirit of partnership. And I'd like to touch on a few highlights. Tonight, we honor our 22-23 grantees. And you can see that as a long list, so I'm not gonna be able to call you out by name, but you can see that collective creative impact. Last year, we awarded over $4 million through 100 grants to arts and cultural organizations, as well as technical and funding support for our creative entrepreneurs. Thank you. Of the organizations that were funded, we are proud to share that 44% serve predominantly communities of color with missions that focus on the cultural expressions deeply rooted in those communities. And just scanning this list gives you a sense of awe. And this is the power of the arts. So please join me in giving a round of applause to all of our grantees. One of our initiatives is to build public will for the arts by promoting the power of creative expression. Through opportunities for creative expression, we connect with ourselves, we connect with each other, and we connect with this great city of San Jose. And we are thrilled to continue our Creative Ambassador program. These are artists that are given a term of a year, and it's their job to go and promote creative expression in the everyday lives of our residents. So our 2023 Creative Ambassadors are Yoon Chung Han, Elba Raquel, and the Artist Collective, Together We Create, Patron Polly, and the San Jose Storyboard Artist Collective, and Suhita Shirakkar. In 2023, we celebrated our 5th Make Music Day. This is a community-curated celebration of music. We had 90 performances at 30 venues across the city. The idea of Make Music San Jose is to celebrate music in all of its forms, and anybody can perform. You could be a beginner. So I look forward to seeing you all out at the next solstice on June 21st, because I'm a lifelong beginner, admitted. We Create 408 is an annual month-long online creativity challenge that engages thousands of residents. So look for the We Create 408 challenge launching in April. And throughout April, you'll get a daily prompt that will challenge you to be creative. And then it will also give you suggestions to learn more or experience more through our 40 partners. And I'd like to take this moment to thank the Packard Foundation for your support of these programs and helping us build public will for the arts, creative expression, and connection. We just wrapped up a very busy summer with outdoor special events and heading into the holiday event season. And we are thrilled to say that year to date, we are at pre-pandemic attendance. So, yep. And we are so proud of our signature events. I can't name them all, there's so many, but let's just give it up for Jazz Summerfest, Pride Festival and Parade, Christmas in the Park, and Music in the Park, and so much more that is keeping our downtown vibrant and thriving. Presented by the Office of Cultural Affairs, City Dance is a free dance experience under the stars and the palms. It returned this summer and really strengthened an already great partnership with the San Jose Museum of Art. And this, yes, thank you. We love Museum of Art. And what happens is the museum stays open late. You can have their amazing food at El Cafecito, and you can have a free dance lesson and can dance the night away. So come back out next summer. Sonic Runway, as you know, was reinstalled 2 years ago, and we have been having so much fun inviting artists to come and perform the runway and see how their music visualizes the speed of sound through these dynamic light patterns. So we've invited artists like Sonido Clash, Chalisa, who many of you know, and it has been so much fun, and we've done so many more, and we're planning to do more again this fall and winter. So come on out, it's a great evening. So our public art program has been very prolific this past year, and so I want to share a few highlights. Located at the new Emergency Operations Center, artist Johanna Pothig's Resilient City is a vertical narrative that brings the chaos of emergencies upwards to a resilient and radiant city. It's quite beautiful. Dedicated just 2 weeks ago, Gordon Huther's End of Watch is a memorial to fallen officers who have died under the line of duty. It was a very poignant event, and I want to thank all of our public safety staff. Dedicated just last week, Sheltering Wing by San Jose artist Roger Stoller is located in Japantown's new park, Highlandville Park. This sculpture reflects the history of Japantown and includes imagery that is culturally significant to both the Chinese and Japanese traditions. Now, I would be remiss if I did not show you this great image. We did not commission it in the Office of Cultural Affairs, but the property owner, Shea Properties, did. And so I would like to just recognize Ken Matsumoto for his addition to great work. Thank you, Sal, for taking this photo. And speaking of Sal's story on the Highlandville Park and its beautiful design and sculpture was featured in yesterday's New York Times California Today edition. And you're gonna love this. The column is at the end of the edition. The column is called, "And Before You Go, Some Good News." So thank you, Sal, and thank you, San Jose, and thank you to the Highlandville Park developers for bringing good news when it's so needed. Thank you. You make us proud. And Pellier Park was dedicated just last night. The entire park design was a collaborative design effort with artist Nori Sato. This is a historic park on the location of the Pellier family's nursery, City Gardens. And it was established in October 1850. Installed earlier this year at Terminal B at the airport, XO is a work of art by artists Laura Kimpton and Jeff Schomburg, and it is our love letter to the community. And this mural was created by artist Jessica Sabagal to memorialize Kayla Salazar, a Mayfair neighborhood teen who was a victim of the mass shooting at the Gilroy Garlic Festival. It features an image of Kayla, and at the bottom is her family. And the imagery incorporates the things that she cared about. So public art heals, it educates, and it inspires. And that's the power of art. And I'm also delighted to share that the City of San Jose and County of Santa Clara entered into an agreement, and our public art team will be providing public art management services for the county. So look forward for even more great public art in our region. Two weeks ago, we were the local hosts of an international public art conference called CODA Summit, which welcomed 420 attendees over 3 days here at the Hammer. The focus was on art and technology, and I have to tell you that we were so proud because San Jose really shined when it came to art and culture. And also looking ahead, we are excited to announce the release of the new Arts and Economic Prosperity Report, developed in partnership with SV Creates and Americans for the Arts. This report will reveal the economic impact of San Jose's nonprofit sector, as well as how many jobs it supports. So we'll be having a rollout on November 3rd, and we invite you all to come. And finally, We received direction to come back to the City Council for a study session, and we'll be having a study session. It's planned for November 30th from 9 to noon, and the topic will be on arts, tourism, and destination events funding. So you are all encouraged to participate. In conclusion, I want to thank the city team comprised of the mayor, the city council, the Arts Commission, and city leadership, including the Office of Economic Development and Cultural Affairs. I want to thank you all for your commitment to the arts. And the Arts Commission approved the final recommendations for tonight's honorees, but I want to say it was a very competitive process because there is depth of leadership in our arts community. So I want to thank all of you for what you do every day. So with that, it's my pleasure to now welcome Council Member for Downtown, District 3, Councilmember Omar Torres.
I got dolled up for this evening. But don't walk around in this heat with a three-piece suit. Good evening, my name is Omar Torres, and I represent District 3 on your San Jose City Council. I'm also the council liaison to the Arts Commission. And when we think of San Jose, who is San Jose? Right? We have Los Lupeños de San Jose. We have Los Tigres del Norte. We had Viet Nguyen. We have Janet Lobo Sabellago. We have Yosimar Reyes, San Jose Taiko, San Jose Jazz Fest, Opera San Jose, Children's Musical Theater, Shaka Campbell. What do they all have in common? They are San Jose legends. Round of applause. The arts and culture community is the heart of our community, building bridges between people and bringing people together to celebrate. I want to personally thank this year's honorees, Connie Martinez, who, by the way, was my boss when I worked at Children's Discovery Museum, the David and Lucille Packard Foundation. Let's look at art. These honorees raised the bar in terms of commitment and going the extra mile. They have each made San Jose a better city. And of course, we also have elected officials in the room, so I need to call them out or else I get in trouble. We have Mayor Matt Mahan in the room, a local hero in his own, former council member Forrest Williams in the room, County Supervisor Cindy Chavez, former County Supervisor and State Senator Becky Morgan. We have Nancy Klein and former City Manager Deborah Fagoni. And I am saving this last congratulations to the Office of Cultural Affairs staff. If we can please all give them a standing ovation, please. Let's give our Office of Cultural Affairs staff a standing ovation. They make it happen. Okay, now we're gonna go to the one clap rule because I'm gonna be announcing 10 fabulous commissioners. The commission is an important body of council-appointed civic volunteers. The council relies on this commission for recommendations on city policy, programs, projects, and investments in the arts and culture. The commissioners commit their time to serve because of their dedication to San Jose, deep belief in the role and the arts and culture that plays to make our city great. I would like to thank each of them by name. If you can clap once, these commissioners that are here with us today, please stand as your name is called. Representing District 1, Samita Garj. One clap. District 2, our chair, Charlie McCullum. Good job, y'all. District 3, a friend of mine, Stephen Martinez. District 4, Vice Chair Lynn Rosenthal. District 5, another friend of mine, Jonathan Borka, and a poet in his own right. District 7, Alexander Nguyen. Karen Adamski, District 9. And District 10, Representative Shelby Takita, along with citywide Representative Janet Peace. Round of applause for all of them. It takes many partners to support San Jose's arts ecosystem. I thank the artists, the cultural workers, board members, individual donors, philanthropic foundations, and corporations for stepping up to ensure that our art scene thrives in San Jose. Now, I'm delighted to present one of these beautiful awards, which were created by local sculptor Ken Matsumoto, who I believe is here tonight. In order for the arts to thrive in San Jose, they must be embraced as a public value by leaders that have stepped up to support the arts. The community-based support for the Arts Award recognizes an organization that has demonstrated strong philanthropic support of the arts. It is my honor to present this award to the David and Lucille Packard Foundation. Founded Wow, I got you all to clap. So we're in the mood, good. Founded in 1964, the Packard Foundation invests in people around the world, from individual leaders to community nonprofits to the world's best-known institutions and researchers, all working for a just and equitable world. For almost 60 years, the David and Lucille Packard Foundation has supported the arts in the local region and has helped many San Jose arts organizations for many years. The grant support to the arts community has been critical to the stabilization, growth, and success of many small to large art groups in San Jose. In addition, the foundation works across the globe on a range of issues, from climate change to reproductive justice, abortion rights, to democracy, to maternal health. Another round of applause. As of 2023, the Packard Foundation has provided approximately 800 grants totaling $352 million. On behalf of the City of San Jose, I extend my thanks to the founders, the board, and the staff, past and present, for making this happen. And you know the saying, don't give a politician a mic, so I'm almost done. So please join me in welcoming President and CEO Nancy Lindberg to accept the 2023 Community-Based Support of the Arts Award. Congratulations. Oh yeah, one second. And we have accommodation too.
Thank you, Councilmember Torres. I love the one clap. We're going to have to institute that. I'm thrilled to be here. It is such an honor to be in this room with all of this energy in celebration of the arts and culture that makes San Jose such a vibrant city. So I want to start by congratulating Connie Martinez, the powerhouse that she brings. And also congratulations to the amazing team and all the volunteers at the San Jose Museum of Art's Let's Look at Arts program. Yeah, I and all of my colleagues are really honored to share the stage with them tonight. So thank you. And as a lifelong lover of poetry, wow, shaka, that haiku is still in my brain, plus that amazingly powerful poem. I have been at the Packard Foundation for just about 3 years now, and I come from a lifetime of working around the world on international development and relief, and I've spent my time in a lot of communities, very diverse all around the world. And I am so struck by the fact that the most resilient, the most vibrant communities always have a shared sense of home, a shared sense of belonging, and a shared vision for their future. And so even in the most challenging of circumstances, that feeling of community is grounding. It brings people together. And it is the arts that really brings that home to those communities, the artists, the musicians, the poets, the dancers. It's the arts that's key to creating that shared narrative, that story that we tell each other of who we are and how we're going to move into the future. And that space for art gives a place for people to gather, to exchange ideas, to understand each other better, and in times of crisis, to help each other out. That feeling is so palpable here. It's so wonderful to have this chance, especially as we still shake off that pandemic feeling. It's really inspiring to be here. Our founders, David and Lucille Packard, understood the power of community, and they believed that philanthropy begins at home. It was the basis of their first gifts. They were determined to give back to the community where they were raising their family, where their Hewlett-Packard employees were raising their families, and to give in a way that helped the community be more resilient, more vibrant, and more collectively invested in a vision for the future. That commitment has guided us for 60 years. It guides us today, and it guides us into the future. This room is filled with so many of you who have been really powerful examples of putting that into action. And I don't have a PowerPoint with the names of all of our partners. I've had a chance to talk with a number of you here today, but know how much we appreciate and really honor the work that you do. I am humbled to accept this award on behalf of the Packard Foundation and our Board of Trustees. And I need to give a shout out to some of the people who are here today from the foundation who have really been in the forefront of making this work happen, starting with, of course, Julie Packard, who's here with us today, our wonderful. We also have with us here today a longtime board member, Ned Barnholt. And we have Irene Wong. Many of you know Irene from her many years of service. Yeah. And I'm delighted to have colleagues Miramani, who now leads this work at the foundation, Miguel Salinas, and Tamara Alvarado, who many of you know. Right? We have a great team. Thank you to the team. And I'll just close by expressing my deepest gratitude for all of our partners. You are making San Jose the rich, vibrant place that it is, and we are just honored to be a part of your story. Thank you.
Good evening. You're lucky my speech is going to be a lot shorter. My name is Lynn Rosenthal, and I am the Vice Chair of the Arts Commission. It is my pleasure this evening to present the Creative Impact Award, which honors an artistic project that has made a significant impact on the community. This year's nomination process was very competitive. I'm sorry, I have a little voice problem tonight. However, one nomination stood out. I am delighted to present this award to Let's Look at Art. As a former docent, I understand the importance of this program, a program of the San Jose Museum of Art. Let's Look at Art is a nonprofit, volunteer outreach organization that brings visual arts presentations to TK through 12th grade classrooms throughout San Jose and Santa Clara County. Let's Look at Art offers presentations free of charge to any school in the county, public, private, or parochial. Let's Look at Art began in 1972 with 8 docents serving a single grade level. I was there at that first meeting, and this makes this one of my favorite projects in the world. Thank you. By the early 1990s, Let's Look at Art had expanded its offerings to include kindergarten through 7th grade and had begun developing slide-based presentations for middle and high schools, coordinated with California curriculum standards. The middle and high school programs called Art in the Dark, I love that title, moved to digital presenting in the early 2000s. Let's Look at Art now serves all grades, TK through 12th. Approximately 40 active docents, supported by about 35 sustaining docents, provided over, are you ready, 38,000 student experiences in 2019, the year before the onset of the epidemic. I think that deserves a hand. Let's Look at Art responded nimbly to the new pandemic landscape by developing virtual presentations and training docents in their use. I would like to share some highlights about Let's Look at Art. Last year, Let's Look at Art celebrated its 50th anniversary. That should get a big hand. More than 550 docents have served with Let's Look at Art since 1972. Let's Look at Art training is rooted in visual thinking strategies, a widely acknowledged and internationally practiced, and I had to ask how to pronounce this word, and I'm told it's pedagogy, for teaching art appreciation. Let's Look at Art docents are trained in teaching for special needs, and they offer presentations tailored for special day classes. Within this year, Let's Look at Art has reached and passed the milestone of providing, and this is the biggie, its millionth student experience. That's a pretty phenomenal statistic, and I doubt that there's another art program in the area that has held up that well and that long. Please join me in welcoming Tony Mish, Delegate Trustee from the Let's Look at Art, to accept the 2023 Creative Impact Award. And I think we have a few docents coming up on the stage as well.
You brought a few friends.
I thought they'd come up. I thought they'd come up. Great.
Oh, it's wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'll stand over here. I have to stay up here until you answer.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you guys for coming. Wow. And thank you, Lynn, so much for that introduction. Let's Look at Art introduces the children of our community to the joys of visual arts, and it encourages a connection with the San Jose Museum of Art. Through carefully crafted classroom presentations, we provide early exposure to great works of art. We teach art's formal elements, its basic vocabulary, and we promote the habits of critical thinking and thoughtful looking. From those first volunteers who in 1972 lugged their portfolios full of prints into those first classrooms, to our new trainees just setting out on their first year, Let's Look at Art is its docents. We each go alone into the schools. We each of us go alone into the schools to give our presentations, but we are truly a family. We share a strong sense of ownership and belonging. Many close and enduring friendships have begun in our trainings, our meetings, our events, our extracurricular activities. And as Lynn mentioned, we celebrated our 50th birthday last year. And this year, we counted our 1 millionth student experience. These milestones, they speak to the endurance and to the reach of the program. Its effect on the lives it has touched is a more difficult thing to quantify, but it's no less real. Teaching is an incremental, cumulative, vital form of activism. We're proud to be art activists. We're confirmed in the belief that art is fundamental to a full life and a healthy community. Thank you. We thank the Arts Commission and the Office of Cultural Affairs for selecting Let's Look at Art for this singular honor. It is deeply, deeply meaningful to all of us to have our work recognized this way. We thank those who nominated us for this award. Maria Rivero, who's here tonight, is Maria. Many of us know Maria, we've worked in her colleagues' classrooms. Maria is a 7th grade history teacher at Shirakawa Elementary, a Title I school in the Franklin McKinley district. Maria brought her principal and 17 of her Shirakawa colleagues on board as co-signers of her eloquent nomination. Thank you. Thank you, Maria, and all of your colleagues. In his nomination, San Jose sculptor and gallery owner Ken Matsumoto called Let's Look at Art an investment in the cultural future of our community. And he points out that it often provides a young person's first exposure to the experience of looking at art. Thanks, Ken. Thank you. And to our friends at the San Jose Museum of Art, another big thank you. We are supported in so many ways by the director's office, the development, the curatorial, the marketing and facilities staffs, and with a special shout out to the Department of Museum Experience and Education and to its director, Jeff Bordona. Here. Thank you, Jeff. Jeff has been, since I started more than 10 years ago at Let's Look at Art, has always been a most reliable and perennial friend to our organization. And finally, and most emphatically, thank you to each of our docents, those here on the stage, the other 550 docents that have participated and given of their time to Let's Look at Art since in the last 51 years. This award belongs to you, and it is richly, richly deserved. Congratulations. Thank you. Okay. Yeah.
We'll get on the other side, too.
Everybody's near there. You guys walk in front.
Come close.
Oh, yeah. Walk right there. Is that okay? Walk right there. Right there. Where do you look? Right there? Right here.
Right here.
Oh, my God.
Right here. Oh, yeah. Okay.
There you go. There you go.
Lots of direction.
There you go. That's okay. Everybody ready, right? Let's see everybody in the back. We'll try it. This could work. This could work. Hold on. I'm going to get it. Here it is. Let's look at art up here. That's crazy. Okay.
I knew he had to work that out for him.
I'm just thrilled that you got it. And I'd just like to say a parting word. I'd love a Ken Matsumoto sculpture as well.
Good evening. You all look wonderful, by the way. Good evening. Thank you. Thrilled to be here with you all. You know, San Jose is blessed to have a very diverse and robust and resilient arts and culture ecosystem. And if we didn't fully appreciate it before, we certainly should now. Because as we look at what is driving the energy and investment and foot traffic and revitalization of our downtown and other key cultural districts, such as Alum Rock, what we're seeing is that it's the arts and culture organizations. It's not the office workers coming back fast enough, unfortunately. That's happening, but much more slowly. But it's the events, it's the experiences, it's what arts and culture and performances, music, what it all can offer that's unique. As you know, I probably don't need to tell all of you in this room, the leaders in the community, that art makes us more fully human. It's the opportunity to connect, to empathize, to be challenged, to really experience the full range of emotion that it is to be human. And when I think about the arts and culture ecosystem that has been built up here through a lot of blood, sweat, and tears over the years, you know, it really was built on the shoulders of giants. And one of those giants in our community, who was the recipient of your Cornerstone of the Arts Award this evening, is Connie Martinez. And I am so honored to be here this evening to help present this Cornerstone of the Arts Award to Connie. I want to share a little bit more about Connie, not that you all need the background. I know you've directly experienced her incredible leadership. But Connie has been a leader in San Jose and Silicon Valley for over 3 decades. While she's held several formal executive staff positions at a range of organizations, and I'll get to those in a moment, I think most of us would agree it's actually been her informal leadership, the way in which she has connected, drawn on the best ideas from across the community, advocated, her persistence. It's been that informal role as a connector and advocate that has probably had the biggest impact in our community. Her work has helped shape how San Jose's arts ecosystem is understood, valued, structured, and has resulted in a significant increase in investment, visibility, and stability within that ecosystem. Connie has had a pivotal voice in efforts to achieve positive change in policy, civic dialogue, and community perception surrounding the arts, and has been a mentor to many of today's established and emerging arts leaders in San Jose. As a co-founder and the CEO of First Act Silicon Valley, Connie brought together business leaders, civic leaders, and arts leaders to work at the intersection of arts, creativity, and technology to incubate projects to advance the arts, activate our public space, and utilize the arts to strengthen our community. In 2012, First Act Silicon Valley merged with Arts Council Silicon Valley, and Connie became the founder and first CEO of the new Silicon Valley Creates. Under her leadership, SV Creates recovered from some financial challenges, significantly increased its grant making to local arts groups, acquired and expanded Content Magazine, and launched a number of new initiatives to increase resources for and access to the arts in Santa Clara County. Of course, prior to her work, she'd already served our community as the executive director of the Children's Discovery Museum, which alone would have been worthy of a Cornerstone Award of some kind. Connie has built networks across sectors in support of the San Jose and Silicon Valley arts ecosystem. She has established a network of leaders who leverage each other's assets to elevate and advance local arts groups and arts leaders. Whether chairing the American Leadership Forum Silicon Valley Board, which, thank you, Connie, I'm one of the alums, speaking to city managers throughout Santa Clara County, serving on the Monterey Bay Aquarium Board, participating in business forums, or partnering with local art agencies like the San Jose Office of Cultural Affairs, Connie is always connecting the dots to support a vibrant and healthy community. Connie operates at the intersection of possibility and pragmatism, dreaming about what might be and working with available resources to make things happen. She collaborates with other leaders and leverages resources to exponentially increase the impact her work and SV Create's work has had on the arts community and the city of San Jose. Connie has a lot of fans in our community, evidenced not just by tonight's wonderful audience, but also by this video we're very excited to share with you.
Hi, Connie. It is the Office of Cultural Affairs and the Arts Commission's honor to bestow upon you the 2023 Cornerstone of the Arts Award for your enduring leadership and legacy.
Connie's single greatest contribution to the arts community is her strategic thinking, and I have to add, her heart.
She's about getting things done, and she knows how to bring different stakeholders to the table.
When I think about her most important contribution, it's probably just being a very visible and effective champion for the arts in our community.
There's very few among us who can put words to concepts and can do big vision and big strategy and then make it happen.
I really just think Connie gave such a gift to the arts community here in San Jose when she created SV Creates. It's obviously no small feat to align civic leaders, business leaders, arts leaders, and not only did she do that, but she created an organization in which she and her staff were able to create this dependable, kind of trustworthy resource that really provided a lot of thought leadership to the community.
Her contributions is really about the constellation of things that she's done for and with the community of San Jose over her time.
I'm grateful that Connie has really led in a way that is absolutely local, but at the same time connects us to the rest of the world.
Connie has been an amazing steward. She's championed the cause of the artistic community.
I think her wonderful work with the city of San Jose, both the administrators and the elected officials, has convinced people in San Jose to contribute to the arts.
She's been a role model. She's been a mentor to more people than I think you'll ever know.
One of the things that Connie has taught us is inspiring others to act.
She wants people to grow and succeed, and as a result, San Jose grows and succeeds.
She can see what the opportunities are. She has a vision for the future, and she steps out and she does the work.
You have been a game-changing leader in our community as it relates to the arts. Understanding the integration and the importance of the arts, the economy, innovation, creativity, STEM, small emerging arts groups, larger groups.
That whole generation of leaders and advocates in the community, I think, are a direct legacy of Connie's early organizing work.
Connie, I congratulate you for this well-deserved award.
I'm really, really pleased that you're receiving this award.
I hope you feel that love tonight.
Thank you, Connie, and congratulations on a well-earned honor.
Thank you for all your service and your leadership in our community.
My friend, here's a cheers to you. Congratulations.
And congratulations on a fantastic career in being the 2023 Cornerstone of the Arts recipient.
And now, without further ado, and with tremendous respect, I am proud to present Connie Martinez with the Cornerstone of the Arts Award.
We are. Wow. Hey, Carrie.
Hey, Connie.
Can I just say
I brought some Kleenex.
Oh, you know what? Lynn Rosenthal gave me a piece of Kleenex. Oh, my goodness.
So when I had the honor of calling Connie to inform her that she was selected for this award, she said she preferred not to give a speech. She wanted to have a conversation like she and I do all the time. And so she wants to have a fireside chat. So just sit back and imagine a nice warm fireplace. And I loved what Marshall did, but let's just have a toast. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you. Can I tell Tamara, I don't know where you are, but I do feel the love tonight, so thank you all. I do. Good. I feel it deeply.
Yeah, that was a pretty remarkable video with so many gems of wisdom and people you've touched, throughout your career and your life. Friends, they're all your friends, and that's the thing that I think is so endearing about you, Connie, is that you're a very sincere person. Right? And you reach out to the people as people, and you become their friends and their nurturers and a mentor. So, and I count myself as one of your mentees. And I want to also just say that I think most people have heard, but last month, SV Creates made an announcement about Connie's forthcoming retirement. So this award could not come at a better time. And so I might have to get this Kleenex out pretty soon. So, okay, so let me start with some questions. And first of all, Connie, you've had a really interesting career. And a lot of people don't know some of these things about her. She worked for the city of Mountain View for many years and had a number of different leadership positions, including she was the interim city manager, and she also was she was the person that negotiated and finalized Shoreline Amphitheater. Yeah, there's a lot to this woman's career, right? And then she was a vice president at UC Santa Cruz. She was the vice president of strategic initiatives. Also, there was another really great one I wanted to mention. Oh, she was a vice president of joint venture Silicon Valley. So there's a lot to Connie's background. So my question is, Connie, how did you end up in the arts and why?
Let me start with the why. I stayed. I stayed because of everything you heard tonight. It's what the mayor said, it's what Nancy said. The arts inspire me, and I believe there's no sector that is better at creating community, building community, educating our youth. I mean, the list goes on, and especially today with all the challenges in our world, the idea, that sense of belonging, democracy at stake,
There's just this long, long list. So that's why I stayed. But how I got here, I do have to mention American Leadership Forum. I'm looking at Ann DeBusk right now. It was, Dennis Haar was in my class, class 10. Some of you are familiar with the American Leadership Forum program. And they had done a national search at the Children's Museum, and they hadn't found quite the right person. And I knew Sally Osberg and Dennis and several of the people in my class were very, and Deb Fagone was part of my class. Anyway, long story short is I got recruited and I was plugged into the finalists, okay? Now I had just finished my 3rd round of chemo. Some of you may or may not remember that. That was a long time ago, so breast cancer survivor, and I didn't have a hair on my head. I didn't. And it was a challenging time, but you face a life-threatening disease, and you walk into the Children's Discovery Museum, and it's really happy, and it's fun. And I thought, oh, this could be just a really wonderful experience, and the people that were involved were so wonderful. And I know Marilee's in the crowd someplace, my successor, but I said to myself, it's a children's museum. How hard could that be? I really did. I did. And my colleague and friend Shelley's nodding her head because she was with me during the Shoreline years. She was at City of Mountain View. Got to have a lot of sprinkled people throughout my career in the room. But anyway, what I want to say to all of you, and for those who might tend to be smarty pants out there, being a leader of a cultural institution is extremely hard. And it's hard for many reasons, but one way I sum it up is that the cultural sector, we have the pressures of the marketplace. We sell tickets, we have retail, we have sponsorships without the upside. And some of the pressures or challenges of a community's issues like government without a dedicated public funding mechanism. So you are caught in that conundrum, if you will, and it's really, really hard to in this community, and we might want to talk a little bit about fundraising at some point, but in this community, it is challenging. Trust me, everyone, it is very challenging and also very rewarding for all the reasons you heard tonight from all of our speakers. I was so inspired.
Let's jump to fundraising.
Okay.
Oh, that's a great story, by the way.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you said.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You are known for your fundraising skills. Why is it so hard to raise money for the arts in Silicon Valley? And what role does government play?
Okay, so first of all, I realize people think of me as a fundraiser. I actually don't think of myself as a fundraiser. Maybe a storyteller and a advocate that ultimately, becomes money. But I think of myself more as a fundraising strategist. But that said, and so I've given a lot of thought to this, and I think people in the room, but if you don't, you should know, that about 90% of our philanthropic giving leaves the region, okay? That's across corporate giving, the individual giving, as well as foundations. And so the first thing I want to say is that we're a global community, and one of the wealthiest in the world. We should be giving. We should be giving globally, and we should be giving a lot. So in no way am I dismissing the value and importance of global philanthropy. But I think it was said earlier that, and I think it's the David and Lucille Packard, their view of you have to give locally to support the underpinnings and the foundation of the community that raised you up and helped you succeed. So I'm a huge believer in local giving, and it's a balance, okay? So I'm on a quest and have been on a quest to increase local giving. Why is it so hard? you know, if I can remember some of the, I've written a paper on this, but if I can remember some of the points, we are a valley of immigrants connected to someplace else. And guess what? People don't give to a place they're not connected to. Okay? So connecting people to community is is the foundation for philanthropic giving. You know, the culture itself, we're entrepreneurs here and proud of it. But with that comes, you know, if you want to change the world, you're gonna figure out a way to do it yourself, right? So you start your own thing, and it's not necessarily investing in the whole of the community and what they're doing. I think that there's a certain amount of sexiness, if you will, to that you know, people think about changing the world. It's, you know, you have to be a little bit arrogant to think you can change the world. But guess what we actually have? So at least people embrace the idea that we can change the world. And I think that's great. But at the same time, it kind of goes back to the value of local giving, is that, you know, if you don't invest in the underpinnings, as I said earlier, then, to me, the future is, and it's like local is up close and personal, Carrie, right? So we see it all the time.
You're on the front
and
lines.
that can be messy. And I think if you divorce yourself from local and you want to do good, you're not as engaged in what's really happening in your neighborhood, in your community. And there's something about it that's harder. Okay, so, and I should mention our geek culture, right? So, you know, the arts and the relationship with our geek culture isn't necessarily a straight line of support, and we have a different relationship with the arts. It's not that it's bad or good, but I mean, there's many factors, including our suburban development pattern, because in many ways that dissipates the energy and the focus. I think lastly, I would say that the challenge of local giving continues. We need more local philanthropists championing local, and you know, it's never finished. So those are some of my thoughts about why it's so hard.
Yeah. Thank you. We could sit here for hours.
Oh, yeah. Well, unfortunately, every one of these questions could be an hour.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay, so here is one I think is very interesting. I think it's important for the audience to hear your perspective on. Our offices have partnered over the years on different studies, whether it's the Arts and Economic Prosperity Study or the Business of Art and Culture Study. So, what have you learned over that process about our arts ecosystem, and what has surprised you?
Okay, so remember, I came into Children's Discovery Museum and pretty much knew little to nothing. Oh, I call myself the accidental arts leader. You've heard me say that.
Yeah,
I knew
she has a lot of good terms.
Next to nothing. And so when we did the research, and we've done several rounds of it, as you know, Carrie, I think the thing that, what I've learned is that, you know, our ecosystem actually doesn't look like everybody else's. And if you take a lens of the 20th century and all these characteristics of what the arts ecosystem has looked like in that century, and dominated by the larger cities and more of a Eurocentric top-down approach to the arts, then you look at the 21st century, which is a different animal from the standpoint of, you know, equity is an issue, multicultural is an issue, demographic shifts, even digital culture. There's many, many shifts. Yeah. So depending on your lens, either you look at these multiple attributes, and we publish this in, as you know, in the Business of Arts and Culture, or you look at the 21st century. Either we're in last place or we're in first place. We are the future. Is this, what, are we halfway there?
No,
Is that what
I'm saying we're number one.
Oh, we're number one. Yeah.
No,
I thought she was correcting me and saying you got to speed this up.
No. I'm just agreeing with you.
Yeah. And so we don't have any large. Our large institutions are mid-size in other markets. We have more culturally specific organizations, more startups we're a startup culture than other regions of the country. The breadth of diversity that's here is, there's diversity across the country, but the breadth of diversity that's here is is significant, and it pops off the charts. So the thing that surprised me, now remember, I knew nothing, right? So you may all know this, and you wouldn't be surprised, but the magnitude of the, what I would call more of the traditional top-down Eurocentric arts model that's dominated the nation for over 100 years, right? Maybe more, is that you can fit our broadly diverse ecosystem into 2 or 3 of the arts organizations that are in that genre in other large cities. But size does not equate to relevance. It doesn't equate to even quality and excellence necessarily. So in no way am I diminishing that size somehow is an impediment. Yeah. It's because of our breadth of diversity. You don't have one culture to rally around. And when people move into this unique environment that we all live in, they bring their cultural heritage with them. And what's wrong with that, to celebrate? The other thing I'd say is that, and this is part of this visibility, and Daniel Garcia, who's out there somewhere with content, we talk about this all the time, is that when you're trying to bring the voices, and there are so many voices, that to try to be sort of the equity of bringing voice, it is a challenge to serve the breadth of this community. And it's both a challenge and a blessing, right? Mm-hmm. So I've even forgot what the question was. I have. What was it?
What surprised you?
What surprised me? I think I probably said enough. I mean, I know. I do want to make one more point. That we're more like the web. And unless you're engaged in our vibrant ecosystem, you don't see it, right? And you don't see it because we're not tied to the structures and large institutions, and there's nothing wrong with galas, but the things that would stand up in other cities, that's not who we are. Right. We still have a lot of fun together, and the arts play a role, but just what I'm saying is that we're not as visible because unless you're in it, you don't see it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So you've worked on the vibrancy of downtown for many years. Mm-hmm. And one of the things you did as a venture culturalist and urbanist is you brought Spur to San Jose. So can you just share, why you chose to invest your time to incubate Spur in San Jose? And what are your thoughts about the future of downtown?
Okay, the first answer is pretty simple, is I wanted to build a network of people who care about downtown San Jose. That's it. And Spur, I had gotten invited to their opening of their new center in San Francisco. And I walked into this room and this crowd of leaders, and the vibrancy and excitement and love of their community was just so much on display. And I felt like we were missing that. And I thought, and I courted Spur for 3 years. I don't know if Gabe made it tonight. He was on our RSVP list. Oh, hi, Gabe. I courted you for 3 years. And finally, they came down, and we were so delighted. And of course, Leah and Teresa were, very much in our community, of our community. And so it was building that network of people who care. And of course, they brought policy expertise, research expertise to our community that we didn't have in partnership with the city. So anyway, I was incredibly excited and proud to do that. Now, future of downtown. And I think Alicia's here too, so she's carrying on the fight, if you will. So then you asked the question about the future of downtown.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me start by saying, there are many people in this room that, have really given a lot of energy to creating a fabulous city. And so the thing that we may not fully appreciate, not only because we're in Silicon Valley, but that focuses on, the future and the present and the speed and all of that, is great cities evolve over centuries. We're a young city. We're an unfinished city. So all that you saw up there that we can all be so proud of, just keep in mind that we are young, and so the future. What I see is, I'm totally bullish on the future. Now, I've lived in 5 places in downtown San Jose. So some people know I move a lot, but I don't know if others have done 5 separate places. So I've seen this community evolve.
Yeah.
And yes, we've had setbacks, but if you look over the trajectory of the last 30 years, we're better off today than we were the decade before and the decade before and the decade. We are moving in the right direction. Do we have current problems? Absolutely. Okay? So it requires leaders and, to pass the mantle to the future leaders out there with the tenacity. And one of my favorite quotes, I don't think I've said this yet, is around, it's not the critic who counts. And it was old dead white guy, Theodore Roosevelt, that said it. I'm not saying that disrespectfully, but he, in that, it's not the person who criticizes, but the person who gets into the ring. So I'm inviting the leaders of the future to get into the ring. And I can't paraphrase this. I wish I could memorize this. But he said, don't give yourself to worthy causes, and don't be one of those in the end that knows neither victory or defeat. You got to fight. You got to fight for a better future. And so I'm bullish on downtown. I do want to say something. Given every once in a while you get jolts. 9/11 was a jolt to our country. The pandemic was a jolt. And so the downtown environment is changing. I think the mayor mentioned, the back to office. I don't think it'll ever come back exactly the way it was. But again, it will change and people will come back and it will get better, and the workforce part of it. But arts and culture mean more today, in my view, post the pandemic than they ever did. And that, yes. Yeah.
I think that's a good segue, because I know there are a lot of people that are going to want to come and give you a hug.
Okay. Keep going.
You have mentored many of the arts leaders in this room. Mm-hmm. What sage advice do you have for them?
Okay, so this is now leaders in the arts and culture. Okay.
Yeah.
What I would say first is, when you think about leadership, you will succeed if you lead with integrity, because guess what? Nobody wants to follow somebody they don't trust. It's as simple as that. And then second is you lead with compassion and love, because people don't want to do more and better and for you, with you, if they don't think you care about them. So that's where I start.
Yeah.
And then probably I go back to, because I know we're running out of time, is that issue of, it's not the critic who counts, it's the person who gets into the ring. So I'm depending on the future leaders, and that you will be the shoulders for others to stand on.
Good, thank you. So we've been friends for actually almost 16 years, because you served on my interview panel. Remember that, Kim Wallish?
Payback's
Thank you,
a
Kim
bitch.
Wallish. But what are 3 things that I don't know about you?
Okay, I don't know if you don't know this, but these are the ones that bubble up. The first one is, you may or may not know that I grew up in southern Minnesota, and I went to a one-room schoolhouse, okay? Not too many people, and probably in this room, have done that or experienced that. And my dad was a Lutheran minister. We were very community-oriented.
Yeah.
I have, my friend Elaine is here, my childhood friend of 66 years. We've been best friends since we were 2. She is. Okay? And she went to the one-room schoolhouse with me. So those are my roots. We used to say, this was the joke in our Scandinavian community, is that a mixed marriage was when a Swede married a Norwegian. Okay, secondly, can I go second?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I have 2 more. So that was that.
Oh, okay.
So are we running out of time?
I think so, but.
Okay, so the second one is that, you know, those who know me know how much I love my girlfriends. Okay, girlfriends are the best, right? Is that for 20 years, I took a group of extremely accomplished women to Ashland, Oregon, and we, you know, did theater. We ran the Upper Klamath River, 4+ rapids, very significant rapids, and we called ourselves the Wild Water Women. We, you know, spine and theater and eating and drinking. It was such great fun. But what you don't know, I don't think, is that I made every single decision. So in the world that we live in, Carrie, we live in collaborative leadership, consensus building. I didn't want a single piece of feedback from anyone.
But like when you're in the world that you have to make so many decisions, don't you just want Connie to like make all the decisions for you?
Yeah. So we just sunset last year, but that group, well, there's several here, Wild Water Women in the group that are here tonight, so I'm happy about that. Yeah. That's about 10 of them.
Oh gosh, that's fun.
So then the third one is that, and this may come as a surprise, maybe not at all, I was a single mother with 2 babies in diapers at age 21.
Yeah.
Okay?
And that's indicative of who
the
you
2
are.
babies are sitting right there.
Raise your hands, girls.
Do you have
You have the most beautiful granddaughters.
Yes, and I have 4 grandchildren. Aaron is the oldest. He's in Austria. He's a competitive skier. He's 16 years old. But his brother Noah is right here, and Hannah. And little Savi is my youngest granddaughter, so the 2 little girls are the youngest. And then they're incredible. I just absolutely adore their husbands. Oscar, who's from Colombia, that family speaks Spanish, and I love it. And then Matthew, Leopold, and Natalie, they are the loves of my life, my children and my family.
That's great. And I want you to know that she talks about you all the time, and she loves you.
I do.
Okay, we're let's do
wrap up.
Rapid fire.
Okay.
Rapid fire here.
Wrap it up.
Please tell us about your next chapter.
Okay, so everybody, is asking, like, what are you going to do? What do you do? How about that I enjoy my family and friends, drink great wine, eat great food, and travel with my girlfriends, and and I'll always need and want intellectual stimulation, but I'm not going to prejudge what that will be. And my family doesn't quite believe I'm going to retire, so I hate the word retirement, I really do, okay? So, But anyway, and next week, my great friend Meryl S. Castro and I are flying down to Mexico and get the keys to a house that we've just built. So, yay, there she is. Yes. So there'll be several people in this room that will be visiting over the years. We're planning, So Mary and Colleen and Meryl S. and I just planned a trip to Greece this last weekend. We're going for next year. I want to take the grandkids to, I've got lots of things to take the grandkids to and with, and the boys want to see, I said Manchester Unified, it means Manchester United. They're big soccer fans. So there's this whole long list, Carrie, of things to do. Now, when it comes to work, I'm going to continue to support Alexandra. Hey, let's hear it for Alexandra. Behind the scenes more so, where I don't have to, do board meetings, my beautiful board out there, things like that, so that I'm more free. So the areas, we've been developing a municipal strategy, as you know, Carrie, and so we're developing relationships beyond San Jose, which has been our, certainly a large part of our focus over the years, for all the right reasons. But so that, and then we have some great partnerships with Think Together and the Santa Clara County Office of Education. I think Randy Barth is here. Mary Ann Dewan, did you show? I don't know if she was coming or not. She said she was. But anyway, children's education, arts education is a passion of mine. And then,
sounds great.
yeah. So it's not, I'm not retiring from, thinking, and I'm not retiring from being passionate and excited about, or from living. So that's my answer. Okay.
That's good. Okay. Rapid fire. Any final thoughts you want to share with this esteemed audience?
Yes, okay. So my final thought is about gratitude. And some of you have heard me say this, because I've said it many times. And I think, with the hubris that's in Silicon Valley for, some good reasons and some not, that many think they did it on their own. And nobody does it on their own. And so I have been blessed, Carrie, with incredible mentors. And a couple of them, several of them are in the room, but I do want to shout out for Becky Morgan, my dear friend and mentor. I truly love you, Becky, and you know that. And Nad, you represent too the CEO, business community. You've been so great at counseling me, and in some of my darker moments, I don't know if you remember, that's a whole other story. But anyway, I've had incredible mentors, okay? Then I've had incredible boards. They are just, I love my boards. And there's some that are from, CDM days, from First Act days in the room. I can't mention everyone's name, so sorry about that. Then, I know you're getting nervous because
we have Shaka's coming back.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. So then,
and they won't want to get a glass of wine.
Yeah. And then, what about staff? Have I not hired some of the best people that in this community? Yeah. I mean, truly, and you know who they are. But the incredible staff. And what about Sarah?
Oh,
Sarah. Oh my God. Sarah has been with me for 30 years and 5 organizations. Hey man, it doesn't get better than that. Okay, and then let's see, so staff, mentors, board members, and then of course you've already heard about my girlfriends that give me energy, and they just sustain my love for life and community.
Connie Martinez, thank you for all that you have done in our community and that you will continue to do. because even though it's retirement, you are going to continue to sustain and create the world into a better place. You just will. And so we're gonna, I wanna thank you. And now I think it's time, let's invite Shaka back to the stage.
And do I stay here?
No. And I just want to let the audience know when Shaka's done with his next performance, you can join us in the lobby for a post-reception. Thank you very much.
We still good, everyone? You can sit down there, because then, I'll... So, I'm back again. I was trying to figure out, well, first of all, Connie, you're the seed, the plant, the flower, the blossom, and the whole darn garden. I'm honored to know you. I'm honored and humbled to know you. Thank you for all you do. So I was trying to figure out what to leave you guys with, and keeping in the theme of listen different, I really struggled on what to have you walk out the room with, and I was going back and forth. I was gonna read something about how and why I write. That's boring. But I landed back on this sort of listening different piece, right? And it made me recall a friend of mine who is originally from New York, who's unfortunately no longer with us. And we met through the arts and programs like the ones we all collaborate and create on. Her story is very, very difficult, painful, in some places just inexcusable. But the one thing that pulled her out of some of the grief, some of the solace that gave her solace was arts and the community that she was made part of, none of which would have been availed to her without the initiatives and the works that happen with people in rooms just like this. So give yourselves a clap for that. No, give yourselves a proper clap for that. Like, you're doing things for people. So this is not her image, but there is something about this person's eyes that reminded me of her. I typically say that this poem was inspired by a movie called Precious, and it really wasn't. It was really about her, but okay. I'm gonna try and get through this. It's called Pandora. In a kaleidoscope of naked dreams, she clones herself. A smoking shell casing left to burn through promise. Emoting charades in a bubbling cauldron of hate, she could be your sister's shadow. She could be your mother's orphaned ballerina clutching the sewage stench of prescribed cannibalism like Sparta on rehab. Come on, y'all, close your jaws. This Precious is no Pixar, Disney, Mouseketeer stuff. Act like you know. This is the corroded eardrum of life. The constructing of wax dams, blocking vibration, chanting in underwater rhetoric. Me may want to listen different. I hear her. We hear her screaming anarchy. Screaming God into her womb 3 months after an earthquake gifted by her father's iniquity colored her future instability brown. Her legs as elevators, 2 isolated chimneys pushing through to the heavens, her mouth clinging to freedom like perhaps she is reincarnated Mary. Immaculate strewn across her midsection like holy water filled through purgatory, perhaps him, absentee Jesus, burying child support in unmarked graves and black beauties with bullet tongues, ordering miracles in sign language to an arthritic scripture. She screams out, he made me into a... Maybe or perhaps she's a simile for like as is like an exploding death attached to her ribs, like Bailey's and evil, a facsimile of HIV positive metaphored into rhyme and routine. Now you tell me, how does a nuclear ember with wireless umbilical cord, get trapped with no connection to her children. We see her brain seized, her face rocking a boot print decorated jawline. She can't feed her children. She exposes breast milk to milk sugar daddies when face greets fist, when the world pretends to hear her cry, rent due, get whatever who can provide the baby food, high school diploma or drug mule. Forget what you heard, cash rules. She's got to do what she got to do. People, this is no fairy tale. Right? This is no animated child play. This is happening 2 blocks from here, 4 blocks from here in different countries, in different cities. This is no animated child play. This is no Pink Panther, but rather her pink lathered and gathered to hold a cancer that devours her soul faster than an altar boy and a pastor, only after he realizes the devil is his real master. Her dreams held laughter. You catch her in the right light and her smile suffocates disaster. 12 of your issues is only half hers. Once whole, now holes in her heart answer aborted prayers. And her chakras leak needles and saliva. She decides her life is narcotic, maybe. Maybe Pandora lives in her tears. Maybe her eyes, dying a slow death, are erecting a gravesite in Jerusalem, in a Brooklyn bodega, in the swollen belly of a starving child feasting on sand and wishes, or maybe she will die early from a broken heart and fold herself into a blossom of kaleidoscope dreams. Close your ears, people, like you closed your eyes, and listen to her different. Please, listen to her different, for she is a nuclear ember, a black beauty, a reincarnated Mary, and perhaps she could be any one of our sister's shadows. Thank you so much. Thank you.